Vic, one of the things that has really helped your business grow to the point that it is now has been your focus on sales. What advice can you give to other property managers, and what's your magic behind that?
So my magic behind it, like you call it, is not going in there as a salesperson. Pretty much when I go into talking to an investor, I'm talking about a conversation. It's having a genuine conversation first and foremost. And then we talk about how are you managing your property now? What are your challenges? We discuss the challenges and I combat what his rebuttals are with what we offer. We offer over 15 guarantees. We syndicate to your property to over 27 websites. We don't collect deposits. We have insurance companies that handle deposits for you. They cover us between 3 to 6 times more than a normal deposit would. As of July 1st in South Carolina, you can no longer collect 3 months deposit, right? So what we've done is we partner up with Guarantors or Rhino, and they cover us between 3 to 6 times as much as a deposit would, right? So we talk about that. And then when we talk about what we're offering them, we pretty much are trying to build that rapport with them and giving them that self-awareness and confidence of the product that we're producing for them.
Great. So basically, you position yourself as an expert advisor in the space and someone that you're already giving advice to for free, and kind of going out on that ledge to build that trust before you even started the sale conversation.
Correct. It's just make sure that they trust you during that conversation, right? Build rapport with them. Half of the time when I go to a visit to one of the homeowners or investors, it's probably 5% of what we talk about is property management. The rest of it, we're dialoguing about either investments or properties or, sports, whatever it is that they're in tune with to build that camaraderie or rapport.
Great. As far as where you're actually talking about property management, what kind of pain points do they generally talk to you about that you're overcoming? Are they generally focused in one area of the business, or what does that look like?
So what I try to do is I try to give them my bad experiences, right?
Yeah.
I tell them I have 14 years of bad experiences, and I've been a professional since 2020, since joining PMI. So I sell them on the aspect of when a homeowner or a tenant gives you a full year's rent up front. That doesn't entice me. And the reason behind that is because it happened to me personally, right? I had tenants that gave me a full year's rent up front, and guess what? They were subleasing my property, right? The other aspect of it is inspections. Are they doing enough inspections in that property? We partner up with C Inspector, and we have the tenant do a 3-month inspection, and then we do a physical inspection every 6 months in that property. We talk about that. So I try to combat their issues with the systems that we have in play to give them a overall picture of what we can do for them.
Wonderful. Just out of curiosity, how often do maintenance issues pop into those conversations?
Consistently. Obviously, that's one of their pain points because the simple fact is that they now have to come up with a large sum of money if a maintenance issue happens, right? So we talk about preventative maintenance issues.
Great.
So we talk about making sure that the filters are being changed. And again, we partner up with someone here, Second Nature,
yeah.
in regards to the filters, right? We send them filters every 3 months. When we go do inspections with C Inspector, or they're doing their own inspections, they're validating, check the filters. So the biggest issues with rental properties is, and a lot of people may not know that an HVAC unit goes out. And the biggest issue with that is they don't change the filters, right? So that comes up consistently. We talk about, obviously, if I do the maintenance coordination for them, there's a markup price for that. We talk about that. But they're able to use their own vendors as long as they fill out an indemnity form that they assume all responsibilities from the repairs that their person does, right? Obviously, everyone we send out is going to be licensed and bonded, and they'll be responsible for anything that happens. But I paint them a picture, right? What I tell them is, let's talk about you send your vendor out. He's not licensed. He's not bonded. He puts a fan on, right? That fan falls, hits a kid in the head, cracks the kid's head open. There's going to be a lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to be named in that lawsuit because I had nothing to do with it. You chose your own vendor. Now, if you choose my vendor, obviously there is a markup for that, but my vendor is going to be licensed and bonded, and they will be responsible for whatever they've done.
Correct. Wonderful. So you're also showcasing the reasons why to use your vendor network opposed to using their own.
Correct. Correct.
But you're giving them the option to, which is
They have
which
the
is
option. Not
commendable.
many property management companies out there give an option.
Yeah.
I try to set myself aside. Right where my location is, PMI Southern States, there's 13 other property management companies around there. Some of them do property management for $79 or $99. If that's the service they're looking for, that's the property management company they need to call.
And that's really going into the kind of PMI's community value of you have PMI partners in the area that you can always recommend for various reasons. You know what their primary value propositions are. So if you're talking to a prospective client who you're just, they're not aligned with the values that you're providing, you have partners in the area that you can recommend to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if it's a scenario that they're wanting to use our vendors directly, I'm not opposed to that, but I let them know. I follow up behind them, making sure the job is done accordingly. So that's the other part of maintenance.
Great. No, that's really helpful. On the maintenance aspects themselves, what would you say is your biggest time sink on maintenance?
On maintenance, during the winter season, it goes back to the same thing. HVAC in the winter and in the summer, right? It seems to be the only issue that we come across it consistently at the HVAC.
Got it. It's the most time intensive because it happens during peak season for
Correct.
those vendors.
Correct.
So have you thought about trying to run preventative maintenance on those HVACs and the AC units outside of the filter replacements?
Correct. So again, we partner up with another company out there, a local company, and what they do is they come out and do preventative maintenance every so often. So I try to offer that. I can't make them do it. I offer it as an additional plus to take care of their units themselves. But, some take and some don't.
Got it. I would assume that the ones that take it don't run into those
Correct.
challenges, and the ones
Correct.
that don't take it are the ones that are creating the headache.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's going to be covered in your leasing agreement, but one thing that a lot of my clients do is have the resident test the AC in the winter and test the heater in the summer just to make sure that it's still operating properly, so that if it's out, you have 3 months to fix it,
Right.
and you can schedule those repairs with the vendor and not outside of peak. You get better rates, and the owner has 3 months notice as to, I need to start saving for this,
Right.
because I need to start setting things aside so that this doesn't hit me as hard.
That's a good idea for sure. But what we do is we run a 136-point inspection on the property to make sure,
Yeah.
first of all, that it's habitable. So we go through the plumbing, we go through the spigots outside, the sprinkler system if they have one. We go through the HVAC units to make sure they're operating. We flush the toilets, go through the sinks just to make sure everything is functional. But I might want to consider looking into what you're proposing here.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of my clients have seen a lot of really good success with it. So
Okay.
I try to spread that word out there and let everyone
It makes
know
sense.
that and there's other things that you can do if your owners are not buying into the preventative maintenance program, which is going to be the most ideal, because guaranteeing that the resident actually ran the system is a whole other story.
Correct.
But it's not hard to ask them to do it.
Absolutely.
And a lot of them will take you up on it.
Absolutely. So it's a good idea, and I'll make sure to look into that.
Great. Well, Vic, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.